Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome. Cynthia Harrison here from Rhombus Healing Arts. Let me just get everybody on together and make sure that we're live. G'day. Cynthia Harrison here from Rhombus Healing Arts and the Academy of Conscious Evolution. Popping in today to tell you about a couple of things. Exciting, expansive, power-filled opportunities. Tomorrow, we have, oh, hang on, am I recording here? Let me just record here as well.
Recording in progress.
Tomorrow, we have Healing in Grace. Healing in Grace. Oh, I'm a bit dark on here, aren't I? Oh. Hey, Erica. You're the first face, so-called face, that I've seen. All right. So I'm just letting people know. So twice a month, or however often you would like, I've been doing what's called Heal in Grace, which is a closed group, but it is by donation. So if you're on, just wondering for you, Erica, if you're on Instagram, I'm not sure that there's a link on there, but have a look in my profile later. I think there is actually. Healing Grace it's called. It's a donation, so you know, put in whatever you can exchange. And we've been doing this for the last month or so, and it's been quite profound and a beautiful group, small group. Oh, it's growing. And you know, my questions are around what is healing. You know, we're all talking about healing, or people talk about being a healer, healing and whatnot. Oh, you have to work on Friday. Well, awesome that you have a job to work at. We've got to give some grace for that, right? There is for, so let me tell you about it for those of you that know nothing. Some of you do. I'm just wondering where all my membership ladies are. Maybe I'm on the wrong link. Oh well. What was I saying? So Healing in Grace with Cynthia. I'm Cynthia, and we start at 3 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time, which is 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, 3 a.m. for Central. So, you know, and Australian Eastern Standard Time, it's 11 a.m. And I've chosen that time because it tends to cover more time zones than now, right? The Australian posse. But the essence of, so I've got a few things I want to talk to you about today or share with you, because I've got a couple of free things. So Erica, if you can't come tomorrow, you may be able to come to another free event that I'll tell you about in a moment, and we'll discuss a little bit, because I'm really in the passion of what is healing, right? So in Heal in Grace, it's like a gathering, a circle where I am sharing a little bit, but we're sitting in grace. We're sitting in the energy that is more expansive, more healing, for want of a better word, than energy medicine. So we have energy medicine techniques that are like first aid, but what I connect with, that is where we see miracles, where we see real shifts and changes, is grace. This space, this ocean or sky, whatever metaphor that you would like. So there are two ways to join us. And one, there is a membership where you pay monthly and you get all the recordings, and there's a portal. So to answer it's a long answer for your question, Erica, is that there is replay for those on the membership. For those that are just showing up with a donation, which could be, $1, $2, $5, whatever you can exchange, there isn't a replay. Occasionally I do send out the replays because, but the membership is a portal where I can put everything and you can go there. So that's that. It's a place where I'm sharing what I do when I'm doing particular advanced energy practices into what I call grace, which is like a gamma, my double alpha into gamma frequency. It's not theta healing. And, it's about, we go for about an hour, sometimes longer, depending on questions and what we're talking about. But we have been doing some experiments as well, so that when we sit together in that ocean of love and mercy, in the grace, which I hold the container for, we're also learning, and I'm doing mini teachings to prepare you for receiving, what you're able to receive in that time. So that is Heal in Grace. So it's generally the first and the third Friday of the month. So tomorrow, so I'm sorry if you can't make it tomorrow, depending on what you're drawn to, or we can just hold you in that. But we're also looking at water memory and how we heal. What is it? So I'm researching, or I have been for the last 30 years, but specifically the last month or so, I've been looking deeper into what is healing, what does it mean, and what are the mechanisms of, particularly in relation to longitudinal or scalar energy or waves, right? So water has come in because I work with the mother, with the Shekinah, with holy wisdom, which is the blue. This is how I experience it, the blue. And it's not the blue of the chakras, it's beyond that. However, preparing your body and your systems, let me just see if anyone's waiting, your systems for the ability to receive and for your vessel to be able to hold that energy. Right? Let me just check Facebook. I haven't got my chat up. So that's Healing in Grace. So we have that tomorrow. And so whoever's watching on there, I've got numerous places open, so I'm just going to have to check the chats every now and then and just see. So say hello so I can see who's there and we can get the chat. So I'm on Restream, which means, I've got all, different Facebook pages, about 5 different Facebook pages, and YouTube, and what else, Instagram and Zoom. So say hello, because I can see you all there. I do have to keep an eye on the Zoom link in case people are coming in. All right, so that's that tomorrow. So hopefully you can come. And again, there's 2 ways to join. Because some people don't want to do the dribs and drabs of, little bits of money here and there. So they'll go, right, we'll do, the membership, and that just gets done automatically. If you don't want to do that and you just want to dip your toe in, do a donation of whatever you can afford or whatever you want to exchange, and come in and, I'll help you prepare your system. And then we go into the closest I can say is like it's like a trance healing, I guess, right? But we're not directing, we're not making it happen. We're not asking for specifics, but there will be some preparation. So yes, we've been working with water. We've been working with programming the water in relation to, oh, what just happened? In relation to holding the charge, the frequency, the voltage of all that imprint, right? So that people can drink that water through the week. And so we've been sort of looking at that and seeing how that's working for people. And testing the water before and after and things like that. But the circle is really sitting and swimming in that ocean of love and mercy. So you can come and just swim, meaning lay back and receive, or you can ask questions. I can, help you navigate what healing means for you, right? It's different for everybody. So that's that. Now, the newer thing that you may not have heard about is I'm just wondering if I'm early. I think I'm supposed to come on at 2:30, but anyway, we're here early. So it's just like, where is everyone? They're all at work. This is part of my work, so I guess here I am. All right, so on the following Friday, we have a semi-new program. It's not new to me, but it'll be new to you, and it's called Cloud Odyssey, right? And I've been working on this, I've been writing about it. It's bringing in a lot of this research on what is healing, how do we heal, how do I specifically as a mystic, how do my abilities work, how do they work on different people, different circumstances, all of that. But bringing it into how can I share that with the broader community, right? How can you find out more about yourselves? Right? For instance, Rita joined. Which one did you join, Rita? Grace or Cloud? Well, Cloud is a free mini, I'm calling it a mini workshop because it really is a huge creation, which my programs tend to be, and then I pull them into how on earth do we bring it into something that is, oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'll see you on Friday. How we bring it in so that people can experience themselves and navigating it. And because, I am, mystically inclined, I am a mystic, and I speak in metaphor. Everything's poetry to me. I see the world in ebb and flow, right? So as it's really noisy in the background. In my background, it's really noisy in my background. Let me know. I've got the fan on because it's very hot here. So I can, it's really noisy in my background. So turn the fan off, I'll have to go over there. So sounds like a fan. Yeah, I've got two fans on. Can you see me sweating? All right, let me turn this fan off. And I'm going to sweat for you, Rita. I'm going to sweat for you. Is that better? Is that a little better? If not, go over to Rhombus Healing Arts, and the sound quality will be better because on Instagram, I don't have any sound filter or anything. On the Facebook one, I do, because it's through this microphone. So hop over there if need be, or check out the replay. All right. The fan's way over there, so I'm not sure what else is going on. So, all right, Cloud Odyssey. So, Rita, you're gonna be there anyway, right? So we'll see you there. And anyone else who would like to come. But let me tell you a little bit about it. Or actually, maybe I could take you through something else. See, now I'm starting to sweat, Rita. It's all for you, my love. It's all for you. Oh, my goodness. No, it's not too bad. All right. So imagine. So here you go. You're imagining you're a cloud. You're imagining you're in the sky. So Rita and other people who are in this, there's a lot of noise, a lot of background noise. Your sky right now may be quite noisy. But regardless of it, you're floating. Imagine you're in a cloud. Or imagine you're a cloud. You're not in a cloud, you're a cloud. And this is beautiful. Like, just, I mean, I'm looking out at the ocean now, and there's not a cloud in the sky. So if you, there's two metaphors that I use. One is the ocean, because I experience grace as the ocean, or the mother as that ocean of love and mercy, or the ocean of eternity. Some people use the sky. So for this program, I'm using the sky because I think, you know, the way we've pulled in all the pieces is more tangible to understand, because, you know, we're going deep. We're going deep. And, you know, step by step, but we are. That's what the program's developed for. Because, pardon me, I'm looking at why we heal and why we don't heal. What is healing? And the different aspects of you. So you're a cloud. You're floating in this vast sky. And just notice what type of cloud you might be. What cloud you are, what cloud you might be. And if you don't know the names of the clouds, what's it look like? What's it feel like? What color is it? How high in the sky is it? Is it fluffy and bouncy on a sunny day? Is it dark and brooding? Maybe thunderous, or perhaps you're wispy. You feel almost non-existent, barely there at all. So navigating your own internal landscape, and the immense importance of understanding that the clouds, just as they are in the sky, come and go. The weather, your internal weather, shifts and changes all the time. And many of you know this, I know. But how many have you embodied? How much of it have you embodied? meaning it's not just some whimsical story, right? So I am a storyteller. I tell lots of stories, but I tell stories to give examples so different people who have different ways of knowing can still understand the different perspectives of themselves, right? So this is a tiny glimpse of your cloud odyssey, your personal cloud odyssey. Odyssey is journey, a grand journey, right? So we often talk about our emotional state in terms of how we're feeling, like we're feeling under the weather. Or I mean, this is true of, when we talk about energy medicine too, it correlates, but let's just stick with the weather analogy for a moment. She has a sunny disposition. Right? He's going through a rough patch. These aren't just figures of speech. They're an understanding of your personal weather, your personal patterns. And these are, in my opinion, keys to your healing and your growth. Let me just check and see if there's anyone on. No. No one's waiting to come on. So I've just got to keep checking because I'm on the Zoom. If you're wondering why I'm looking over here, I'm on the Zoom. So you can watch the replay on the Facebook or on the YouTube channel where I'll be like looking straight ahead instead of Instagram. I apologize for it because I usually don't go live on Instagram. I just put it on. So if you're there, thanks for showing up. So I'm sharing about Cloud Odyssey, and I just want to take you through a little story or a little experience. It's like we're going to go on this journey through the atmosphere of your inner world. So when we're talking about atmosphere, we're talking about the layers of self-discovery. Some may say dimensions of time. We look at the parts of the self, how different emotions connect with those parts of the self. So in this one, we're going to soar through layers of the atmosphere so you can navigate for yourself. You can get an idea for yourself what yours are, and I'll give you, there's lots of tools and ways of assisting you all to get an understanding of your own, rather than me just doing a theory lesson and teaching you about the different parts, right? Because again, the theory is useless if you don't embody it. If you don't get a knowing, you're bringing a belief into a knowing. So we're going to do that. We're going to navigate through emotional storm fronts. We're going to learn how to forecast your own psychological climate. And there will be turbulence. It's expected, right? It's part of the adventure, meaning all the different clouds, all the different levels and layers of the internal atmosphere, right? You've heard of that term, atmospheric pressure. How's that created for you? What's it feel like? What are the behaviors around that? Where does it come from? So our Cloud Odyssey, which will be a mini journey because the main program is 6 months, but our mini journey is just a few hours next Friday, the 11th. It's free. So wherever you're watching this from, so if you're on Instagram, it's in the profile. Go and look for the Cloud Odyssey. If you're watching it from anywhere else, go and have a scroll through, not the comments, what do you call it? The post that you're watching it from, and there's the links there. And you can come and ask me questions, but we'll go through a mini workshop based on this, right? So we have these layers. We have layers of clarity and insight. And this is where we gather information about ourselves, our environment. It's often cloudy here at this level, right? So think about when you've tried to make a decision in the fog. You know, your head's foggy for whatever reason. It could be hormones, it could be stress, it could be lack of sleep, whatever that fog is. But there are particular and specific ways of knowing that I'll introduce to you that aren't just those symptomatic aspects. There are core parts of the self that can get stuck in these cycles, or it gets foggy at certain levels or layers, meaning, you know, you're walking through life and there's an experience and you start to get, you aren't able to see clearly, right? So the clarity and insight is diminished. So clarity and insight is at that level, what we call the troposphere, but I don't want to use too much of the scientific terms of the weather right now because it can confuse you. So we've got this first level or layer of clarity and insight, and we have this next level, which we rise into, and it's our response layer, how we respond, how we take action, right? And some of you will get stuck or distracted here, meaning you'll have insight, you'll have great things come in, like this program, for instance. I get, you know, massive downloads of information. And I know this one well because I do get a lot of information constantly, 24/7, inundated with data. And if I don't understand how I work, then it doesn't go any further. Okay? Because it overwhelms me. It's too much. My container cannot hold it. And this is why we have healing and grace. We start to just be with the container and how and who we are. The Cloud Odyssey, the mini workshop, starts to give you a little toe in the water to go, is this what I need? Are these ways of knowing going to be helpful for me? Or what's coming up that relates to some of these particular layers of the atmosphere, right? So this second one links to procrastination or a hasty reaction. So you're either reacting too quickly without thinking, or you're not reacting at all. You're not responding at all. It's not reacting, it's response, right? It's action. Do you take action and how you take action? And then the next level we reach is our satisfaction level. And here we bask in the warmth of accomplishment. If we've taken the action, if we've responded, right, then we can sit in that satisfaction. We can bask in the warmth of our accomplishments. Or we can shiver in the cold of disappointment. You see, each layer we can move through smoothly and well, which brings us to our accomplishments and what we're here to cause and create in the world, or we can get distracted or stuck, right, through our fears, our fear of fear or our fear of love. And so both of these sides, both of these polarities, right, are what we will look at in specifically with each part. And obviously in the main Cloud Odyssey, we will spend a lot of time navigating so that you get your individual map, your individual weather map of how you are in the world, why you're that way, how you can continue to build on that or shift it with consciousness. Why we don't heal, I'll give you a little glimpse, is because we aren't aligning. We're out of alignment. When we're in alignment, things happen. When we start moving out through the stress, shock, trauma, these sorts of things, right, which create our illness, our disease, our injury, and whatnot, takes us out of alignment, right? Alignment with what? Source, whatever you call that. I call it the beloved. When you're aligned, you can complete. When you get distracted, taken off course, right, you can't complete. It's really difficult. So the next one that I'll touch on is our completion layer. Our completion layer. So there are other ones, but this is just a little introduction to get you thinking about, okay, where do I get taken offline in, I have an idea, right? Do I just have multiple ideas and write them in my journal or my phone or on the refrigerator, which is what I do. I write my whiteboard markers on the refrigerator, right? So I can see it. But I only ever do three. I do three things and I complete them every day. Because the longer your list of to-do is, the less likely you're going to get anywhere. So what's your priority? So clarity, your insight. Are you able to move or do you get overwhelmed? So just take a note. But in the program, we're going to take you into expressive therapies, meaning creative ways of getting the information in ways that you're not overwhelmed, in ways that you can see it clearly, in ways that you can start to build a relationship, right? So then you can get to the response. What's your action? How you can take action, whether you already take action, but when you do take action, it's very quickly without really thinking it through, and it can often get you into, a bit of a dark cloud or a rainy cloud or some thunder or lightning or a tornado, right? Are you acting without considering the response? Or are you procrastinating? There's still air. You're not moving. So you just contemplate that. Do you act fast? Do you act slow? Right? And there's no right or wrong. It's just about going, is this working for me? Is it working for me? The next one, the satisfaction. You may have an idea, get clarity on it, take the action, respond. but you're not able to take it in. Or you drop out, you don't complete things. Right? You accomplish a lot of things, or you start a lot of things and you don't reach the end. So that's one of mine. Whatever I start, I have a rule regardless that I complete. Right? I complete. Doesn't matter how I complete, but I complete. Right? It's the integrity to myself that I complete what I start, because I'm a fast energy. Who else is a fast energy? You want to do everything. You want to experience everything, right? I want to experience life. But we can, go into things with all of this energy and excitement and not complete. So we have a lot of unfinished things around us, or a lot of unfinished courses, or we buy all these online recorded things and never get through them. The completion layer, this is where we integrate our experiences. It's so important to be able to sit back, right? And if no one else celebrates you, celebrate yourself. I just completed a program. It was over a year, and it was the hardest. It's one of the toughest trainings I've ever done. And it does relate to this program. It's the next level of my trauma and developmental injury training. So we have to continually train. And because of the time difference, everything I do has to be really, really early in the morning or really late at night. Right? It's not ideal. But I'm here to experience. So think about that. When I completed, no one else knew. No one knew. I don't go around telling people everything that I do. I quietly do the things that I do, right? So that I can better support the community and keep my qualifications up and whatnot. I celebrated myself, and through celebrating myself, other people celebrated with me. So I'm teaching them how to celebrate their wins, because I never celebrated my wins. I would complete something, move on to the next. Even before I've completed something, I'd have something else on the go, and I still do that. I have fast energy, right? I do multiple things all the time. However, I celebrate and I go through this system. I make sure I touch in to this system. It's like a beautiful way. And this is only one little piece of the program, but I want to just share little bits with you in case you can't make it, or for whatever reason, but it is free. The workshop is free. If you can't make it on the 11th, I'm planning on running it again live. So keep an ear out. You may be able to come to one of the other ones. And I rarely do the same thing twice. So, if you come to the 11th, Friday the 11th, and then you do another one, it'll probably be slightly different anyway, because, the stories and how we navigate the information, right? So who's ready for some in-flight entertainment? Who feels that they're in this world and their behavior and how they are in the world often baffles them? I'm fascinated by behavior. I have been since I was about 7 or 8 years old, probably around 8 years old. I can remember looking out into the world and just not understanding why people were so cruel and mean. I just look out into the world and I couldn't understand why people would hurt animals. You know, I used to save all the strays around, you know, and there were a lot. There were a lot of strays. We'd find bags of puppies and kittens and whatnot. And, you know, so I'd bring home horses and cows and goats and sheep and numerous cats. And Chester, my rooster, fell off the back of a truck. Like, I'd bring home all the strays. My point being, I've spent my whole life looking at the human condition, right? Just as a little human, and then professionally going into sociology, anthropology, social work, psychology, what else? Metaphysics, energy medicine, you know, the understanding the human condition, conscious evolution. Why do we do what we do? Why do we behave the way we behave? What creates that? I'm asking now, why do we heal? How do we heal? What is healing? And this all has to do with it on some level. Ultimately, it is that alignment and our relationship to love and fear. Because love and fear, our fear of fear and our fear of love, are our aspects of our ego. We say our survival ego and our spiritual ego. So we got the layers, we've got the clouds, the types of clouds. The types of clouds are the emotions, or we bring that into the body. Everything needs to be embodied. So whatever I tell you about, it will always lead or link to how we can understand it and get that deep knowing. What's the core? So we can do energy medicine, right? Energy medicine is, you know, I had a swollen ankle 2 days ago because, you know, of how I was exercising. So I did first aid on it. I healed it, right? I did energy medicine first aid, and it's fine. But I can look at where the misalignment is, where I wasn't conscious when I was doing something in particular. Or, you know, there's all sorts of things. What's the core is what I'm getting at. What is the core? And so how our early childhood development connects with what we're talking about is it's all in there, right? How we adapt, what our adaptations are from birth, from pre-birth to now, how we've created adaptations. So those adaptations, we're going to learn about them through the cloud systems, right? So we can build relationship. And, you know, I keep seeing as I talk about these, I see these clouds. It's like they're little entities, right? It's easier than just talking about words. You feel like you're on a magic carpet ride flying through the air just to observe and fly off to the next place, less baggage. Well, yeah, so it sounds like you're very high, you know, in those where there's very rarely clouds that are heavy with a lot of, you know, rain or density, right? So you could learn, and you will, if you've signed up, you'll get a little bit more information about what that means for you in your life. And it's not about making it wrong or right. It's about saying, does this serve me? If it's not serving me completely, then I have opportunity, I have choice, I have resources, I have tools to shift that to benefit me so that I can live, so that you can live more consciously, making choices consciously, right? So, you know, for me, there isn't a right or wrong. Everything is, and we just have a relationship with it. It's the lack of relationships, the lack of relating. We have, I was filling out a speaker form this morning. I'll tell you about that. It's not coming up until November, but I was writing it out. They asked you, what do you want to speak about? What's the title and all the rest of it? And I started talking about concealment. And the key for me as a mystic is double concealment, right? Double concealment. So what we humans conceal, repress, suppress, hide, push away, disregard, disrespect of ourselves, that is what comes up when you least expect it. We try so hard. There are parts of ourselves that we do disrespect. There are parts of ourselves that we aren't even conscious of. So it's about looking at all the aspects of the self and seeing, oh, I was unaware of that one. Now, the deep dive work, let me just be clear. In a mini workshop, you're going to get an overview. You're going to get, I always do experiential work, right? Because I'm about getting the body involved, right? Understanding it, getting it into the body, the knowing, not just theory. However, you will go away with a knowing, and I've got numerous quizzes for different aspects of the program, and depending what one's relevant for that particular day, you'll have access to those, which will give you a very quick way of getting an idea of what's going on for you in these different aspects. So then you can have clarity or insight into what do I take action on. So the deep dives that I do in one-to-one work is literally the trauma and relational attachment work, which is helping you connect consciously with those aspects of the self that so many people say to me they didn't even know existed. Of course they didn't. They're unconscious aspects of the self. And these unconscious aspects can be playing out. Some of them you're conscious of but don't have a relationship with, so they come in when you're least expected. So in other words, when you're triggered, when you're scared, when there's a remembrance of something that you're not aware of, so that's your trauma or your attachment or your adaptation, your the way that you have laid down the memory of that experience earlier in life, right? Or it could be from recent relationships that have been quite horrific and have created these patterns, and a lot of them are unconscious. So because this can be confronting work, I'm bringing it to you in a almost whimsical way, but don't underestimate that you will get information that will be tangible and have some solidity to it, so that you can at least start to look at, is this something you need to look further into? And if so, you do the, look at what the next program would be, which would be a 6-month journey. Or you could work one-to-one with me, or you could take it to whoever you want and say, I need support in this. Or come on to our lives and ask me questions. Okay? Come on to the lives and ask me questions. Hey, Thornton. I think that's Thornton. I'm just wrapping up and talking about the Cloud Odyssey program that starts, well, it's a free workshop, starts on the 11th on Friday, to navigate our internal landscape, which is basically, our adaptive strategies, our shock, trauma, relational injury and how that impacts on our everyday life, the parts of us that we're unconscious of. And so, yes, they show up in the biofield, and they show up in our behavior. They show up in our lives. So this program's a way to just dip your toe in to see what's coming up for you and whether that would be helpful. So tomorrow we've got Healing in Grace. So you can look for the link for that. And next Friday we've got the Mini Cloud Odyssey workshop, which covers what I've just talked about. So yeah, have I spoken enough? Are there any questions? Doesn't look like it. I don't. I'll just check the restream. I don't think there are though. So the next time someone asks you how you're doing, right? You don't need to say fine, because we're descending back to this ground level. You're not your weather. You're a vast, limited sky in which all the weather occurs, and storms come and go, right? Storms just come and go. Imagine yourself as the sky. You are. So the next time you're asked how you're doing, don't say fine. You can now give them a full forecast. And after the workshop, you'll be able to give them more of a meteorologist explanation of how you are in the world, right? And who knows, you might just be part of the Cloud Odyssey revolution. So may your skies be as clear and as beautifully complex as you need them to be. And I think, hey, Rita, I'm glad that you're still here, because I'm going to put my fan back on because I'm sweating. So the weather is fine. There is not a cloud in the sky here. I'm looking out. And, you know, what I like to share when I start my programs, any of them, I always ask, how are you? You know, doing, being, are-ing. What's that frequency that you are, and what you put out into the world unconsciously? You can do it consciously too. And this is the point. How are you? So now you can step out, if you like, a little bit more, you know, want to put a little bit more fun in it. It's like, what's the weather today? I can remember when I was 8 years old, oh, probably 7 actually. My dad, who, on a side note, was taught, when he was 17, he was taught oceanography and taught how to do all sorts of readings from nature, from the first man to orbit the moon. He was Australian. His name escapes me right now, but, you know, anyway, I'm just thinking of my dad. And he would stand outside, he'd walk outside, and he'd tell me what the day was going to be. He would tell me all sorts of information. I just thought this man was magic. And as I grew up, as I got older, I learned that that magic was, yes, it was his intuition, but he knew how to read weather. He knew how to read the ocean. He knew how to talk to nature. My dad was a scientist. He's a scientist. He's still alive. He's an expert, world expert on magnetism. One of his books is still Crypto Secret. But I have the other one that was released about 5 years ago. Anyway, walking out onto your porch or looking out your window, I've got 2 windows here, that's why I'm looking out. But that's your internal landscape. Look at the internal sky and ask, how's the weather today? How's the weather today? If you want to know more about how to shift the weather, literally and metaphorically, because, you know, medicine men, women, shamans, mystics have ways to do that. You can come and join us tomorrow for Healing and Grace, and go and have a look at the link. It's by donation. So whatever you can share. Or Friday the 11th, come to the free sample mini cloud on Odyssey and learn a little bit more. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you for joining us. If you are watching this live, it's awesome to spend some time with you. And my dad threw gemstones in the sand and wake us and tell us, they came from you. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Good. Well, you probably hear more and more anyway. I have many questions to ask him because I'm doing some more research into healing, how we heal, what is it, how is it, the different aspects, you know, both the science and the metaphysics of it. So until we meet again, may the blessings be, and hopefully I'll see you either this Friday, tomorrow, or next Friday. Or maybe I'll see you on Tuesday on, so I do lives Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I'm back doing those. And they're more, you know, I just come on and tell a story and answer questions and whatnot. Sometimes I have topics, and sometimes I'm just showing up to see what you might want or need. So yeah, until we meet again, may the blessings be. Much love. Bye. All right, I just have to stop the sharing here and